So hi, this is Nick Williams, sitting here with Julie Whippy. Hi Julie.
Hello there.
Julie is a psychology of vision trainer. We're together in our lovely home in Wiltshire. And we're going to have a couple of conversations about the feminine, because I know that's something you stand for and you embody, and you're such a champion for, and I think it's so necessary at this point in history, this point in contemporary life.
Yes.
So let's talk about the feminine in relation to kind of partnership and leadership and the part it plays. What's your take?
Well, it's, of course, the feminine isn't about being a woman, but the feminine side of the relationship is about being the feminine side of the relationship, and that can be the woman in a male-female relationship. In gay relationships, there will always be a feminine and a masculine side to balance so that there can be partnership and success for a relationship. The feminine side of any relationship is the part in the relationship, the side of the relationship that tends to take emotional responsibility for the relationship and deal with the emotional side of the relationship, and it will direct the relationship through helping the partnership, the relationship, talk about their feelings and be able to express their feelings without attacking or laying a guilt trip on anybody. It is the receiving side of the relationship, so it will usually come up with the answers to the problem in any relationship, although it is the masculine side of the relationship that will act out the answer, that will absolutely, be the hero and bring in the resolution in some way.
No, I know a big part of the psychology of vision work is around becoming a great receiver. So let's talk about that a bit more, because that seems to me crucial to the one aspect of being crucial to the feminine, because to put this in a context, in psychology of vision you talk about the independent stage, and in independence you're generally not a good receiver, are you?
Right. No. So
how do you get from being not a good receiver to starting to be a much better receiver? How do you turn that corner?
Well, there's two sides of it. If you are the independent partner, which is the person who's less pleased to feel the emotions in the relationship and believe that they've got it all together and they're in great control around the relationship. So unfortunately, usually in order to get into partnership, you have to go and revisit the emotions from the past that were repressed and what made a person go independent in the first place. So it is about emotional alignment, and of course for an independent person that's not the place you want to go. It's the last place you want to go.
You spend your whole life running away from emotions, and then you go, all that stuff you've been running away from, go and have a look at it. That's
right, exactly. But the worst place you can get by being independent in your relationship is being a completely dead, loveless relationship.
But on the outside, often very successful looking.
Oh yes, you have levels of success, but the problem with that also being independent is you can't receive the reward of the success, so you can be less nourished by how great you feel about your success, and that creates stress, huge levels of stress, and this is why independent people get burnt out, either in a relationship, whether it's business or at home, but the furthest it will get is lead to burnout, or you just stay fairly nice and successful and happy, but that you're not receiving much of the juice or the reward that comes from partnership.
So my tribe is people I call inspired entrepreneurs, often people running their own business, one or two people businesses. So how does this apply to them? I was thinking, the first thought that came to me when I was thinking about this question was that most business thinks it has to come up with plans and goals and stuff like that, whereas if there's a real feminine side to the business, it's about receiving ideas and receiving inspiration and receiving guidance, is it?
Yes, it is. But there's a difference between plans and goals, but we can get very technical. The feminine supports by a business person, if you're working on your own, being in good relationships and willing to heal the differences we have in our business relationships to provide success for that person and that business. But it is about developing the muscle that's fantastic to support plans and goals, which is inspiration and intuition. So it's something that can very easily be developed, and it is so easy. It's really graceful and easy when we give up our idea of how we're wanting it to be and give ourselves I would say for most successful, truly successful business people, they give themselves at least 20 minutes a day to themselves entirely, so they can totally nourish themselves and come up with a plan which is usually just so much better than the one they thought of in the first place. But it's not a very easily planned out, this is how you do it. It's an experience that has to be established in us, and then the muscle, so to speak, has to be developed. So I've got an inspirational muscle now, or I can develop my intuition. And there are some great teachings and exercises out there about how people can develop intuition. And we know in business that's your gut instinct, but it's having the trust in that. Because some of the suggestions that come are pretty wild, but they're usually on the mark.
Because I often find that, I do sometimes, and I see other people get great ideas and inspiration, but then they override it because they don't trust it. The masculine kind of comes in and goes, no, it's a stupid idea.
Yeah.
Rather than realising, having that place of receptivity again, which is the feminine, isn't it?
That's right, so, and having that, the trust is also something, it's like the feminine will help us trust more, so that we can put the power of our heart and mind to the highest possible outcome for our business. And that is a way in which the feminine nurtures our ability to trust. Other than that, we will go into control, and that gets us so far, but it's the feminine that underpins more success once we get to a certain stage.
So I remember years ago, you and your husband run a very successful business. You have a couple of farms that goes very well. I remember you saying something to me once about, you ride out and you kind of bless the land.
Yes, definitely.
Because you wouldn't see that on a corporate business plan, but you know that's a very fundamental part of your success.
Yes, our intimacy in our relationship and our partnership, but also I got horses, and to go around the farm and pay attention to it, to acknowledge it, and for my sake to just bless it and be grateful for what the land produces, is something that you can't prove and you can't show on a business plan. Blessing the land equals £100,000. But it's been really interesting to see how much Nigel, who is very cynical and not in the same bracket of the way I work, really is starting to value it. Why is it that our yields are getting greater? Why
you
is
go,
it? Yeah, well, it's not me. That's the thing. It's not me, but it is
being done through you.
Yeah.
But here's another point. I think it's crucial to bring this out, that so much of work and business is about what we do rather than it being done through us. And is that again about the feminine becoming more of an instrument?
Yes, I think it is. I think being in your business and learning for your business to be, and have an idea of that, know what that is, rather than feeling like you have to do so much or prove so much. It tends to get, the answers are easier and the stress gets less inside of us. So if we're less stressed, we could be more effective in business, rather than just making effort. It becomes not even effortless, it becomes effective.
Great, well thank you very much.
Okay.
I enjoyed this part of the conversation. We'll wrap this bit up. Hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll have another bit of conversation in a moment.
Okay.